What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the 40K Cafe, and thank you, Irish Ninja, for the request. First of all, Irish, I want to say thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that you guys enjoy these videos, because it's really just me just talking about my favorite hobby. But to answer your question, where do I learn or how did I come across all the information that I do talk about? I know I've briefly talked about how I've started learning this stuff before, but I'll go into details about it. I got into 40K by starting with listening to a bunch of Luton videos. A lot of the fandoms that I was already into kind of started getting a little bit boring to me, and when I listened to the universe and all that it has to offer of 40K, I fell in love. So almost immediately, I started buying books and or codexes, researching online, and before I knew it, I was putting way too much money into 40K than I realized. But more than that, I still just couldn't stop, and I had to keep learning more. I needed to know more answers, what happened to some of my favorite characters, and I just kept spiraling down this rabbit hole. So most of it ends up coming from the books. I have the Horus Heresy novels, I have a bunch of the Indomitus Crusade novels, a handful of standalone books, and overall, if there's something that I'm kind of interested in, I start researching it and seeing if there are any codexes or novels about them, and if I can pick them up or find the information online. But that is something that I will say you do have to be careful with when you're starting to do the research of some of these sources online. Some of it is embellished. Obviously, it's pretty cool to add a little bit of flair to whatever you're sourcing just to make it sound that much cooler. And to give you an idea as to what I mean, for example, Tyberos the Red Wake is always considered to be an absolute massive unit. And to a degree, he is a lot larger than your average Astartes, but a lot of depictions have him towering over other Astartes as if he's like that of a Primarch. So a lot of the source material can end up getting overly embellished, and then that becomes the popular norm, even though it's not necessarily true, but it's still cool to talk about. But that being said, the character is still very cool, and he's not the only person that can fall victim to this same kind of problem. But I'm getting off topic. I do get all my sources from books that I've read, codexes that I've read, and information that I can find available online, which then I can fact check. I'm not 100% accurate. I'm imperfect, but I do like to think that I try to get as much accurate information as possible from the books, and if I'm found to be wrong, I will happily correct myself. So there's a good chance that usually when I respond to a video or talk about a subject, I've already read about it or have a novel referencing it or something of the sort. But then of course there are those moments that some people do make a request and I will happily answer them eventually, just there's a good chance that maybe I haven't read about it. I'm always going to be transparent, and I won't talk about something as if I know it if I don't. If I don't have the source material or if I don't have the exact information to give the most accurate detail possible to my understanding, then until I do, there's a good chance that I probably won't talk about the subject. Not to say that I won't ever do it, but I will wait until I have that accurate information to provide all of it for you. Last thing I want to do is to ever be dishonest, and when I'm provided with something that I don't know about, I look at it as a blessing as it gives me an opportunity to buy more novels or audiobooks or codexes or whatever to do more research on this universe that I love. So, to keep a long story short, that's where I get all of my information from. A little bit of everything from here and there, and just trying to make sure that it is as canon as possible up to GW standards. But with that being said, thanks Irish Ninja, and I hope this helped answer your question. Thanks as always guys for listening. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Drop a comment if there's anything you want to hear about next, and as always, remember to follow for more.